Hey everyone, welcome back to Two Moms, Too Much Coffee. We have Tempest here, and we also have.
Hey guys, it's Jhshell. How are you doing, Tempest?
I'm doing pretty good. We moved Sequoia out of our bedroom, and peace at last. I literally was about to start saying, free at last, free at last.
I
Thank
saw
God
your brain
Almighty.
process that for a second.
Thank God Almighty, we were free at last. But no, truly, it feels this way. I just feel like a breath of fresh air. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm not tiptoeing around my room anymore. I don't have to pick out my pajamas at 7 p.m. anymore. I can brush my teeth in my bathroom. I
It's like
can
we're all living the same life.
I can read in my bed before bed instead of reading on the couch. There's so many things we can do in our room now. So I'm so excited. And it's like we moved in this house and basically got pregnant. And so like we've never really had our room. And so now I gotta figure out how to decorate it. Adam was talking about putting a TV in here. We're like whole new people.
I remember feeling the same way because we wanted to like take Nye out of the room. That sounds bad, but move her out of the room later on. But we just couldn't. We had it. I think we did it at like 5 months, 6 months because she just was so nosy. And I remember
Mhm.
having that same feeling, like, once we just, like, transitioned her to her own room, to her own crib, we literally were like, "The lights are on in our room at
Yeah.
6 PM, 7 PM." Like, I'm brushing my teeth loudly on purpose, like, lights are all on, like, so
Exactly.
the little things. Not
I
reading
would
my Kindle under my covers, like
Right. It's so true. I was under my covers on my phone all the time when she was in here. Like, "Don't look at me. I'm not here."
and then when they, like, make a peep, you're literally like and then you, like, go back underneath.
Yeah. So anyway, life is great because she's out of the room, so I'm very, very excited about that, and she slept so well last night. She did wake up, but I didn't have to go in the room. She kinda, like, fussed a little bit and then put herself back to sleep. I'm like, "Ugh," the problem has always been that
Yeah.
she's been in my room, so I'm definitely very happy. I'm well rested despite, daylight savings time. Like, it feels good.
I love that. We love a independent 9-month-old queen, so
Yes. Yes.
uh,
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. We had a better week. We got to the point of, like, Naya was battling a double ear infection, like, she had a double infection, we got amoxicillin, we thought it was gone, we took her to the 9-month appointment, found out it was not, she still had it, so then we had to get her on Augmentin, and so just sleep has been all over the place, just not we went from sleeping through the night to, like, waking up 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, and it just was, like, all over the place.
Mhm.
So we decided now that she was doing better, we were like, we just need to sleep train because we have done her just, I mean, wrong. Like, we just are not doing her justice to letting her be able to self soothe and us doing it for her. So we started sleep training on Monday this past week, and I was very stressed. And
Yeah.
we feel like a modified Ferber, but like very modified because I was like, I can't do 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes. Like, so we were going in every 2 minutes. And then my friend Tempest told me that I was probably confusing her more. Now, though, we didn't even really, I was like, okay, we'll start doing 3 minutes and we'll like slowly progress, but we haven't had to. The next day, she put herself to sleep after like crying for like 45 seconds, not even. And then the day after that, she cried for like a minute. And now she's like, she slept through the night every single one of those nights. Like
I love it.
every single night, she slept through the night. And I woke up like, are we okay? Like jumping up, like looking at the monitor, like, are we still there? Yeah. So I feel refreshed. Yeah, so it's going well. I realize I'm not a full-on cry it out mom, and if you are, that's your thing, that's fine. I'm really glad that she stops crying after a couple minutes because I don't know how I would have done it, but some people are just probably stronger than me, and I don't know.
Yeah, I had listened to either she was on a podcast or, it was her podcast. Michelle Obama did Cry It Out with her kids,
Mhm.
and, she was like, "Yeah, so they always slept great. I did Cry It Out at 5 months," and I think she said like, President Obama, Barack, my homie, I don't know what to call him, um, he did the Cry It Out, and she, like, left. She's like, "He did it, and then from then on, we had great sleepers, and they always slept through the night," and I'm over here at 9 months waking up 3 times a night, and I was like, "Oof." Once she gets out of the room, immediately I'm gonna do some sort of cry it out. I've also never been like a official cry it out type person, but I can get to 10 minutes, and it is not easy, but I get to it, and I swear both my kids, I've seen them get to like 9 minutes and 51 seconds, and then they're like, "Huh, good
Okay,
night."
good. Yeah,
Every time. So I'm like, if I won't go past 10 minutes, but I never have to because they just fall asleep.
yeah, if I feel like it's definitely dependent on, like, you and your family, whatever works, like, some of them are like, "Oh, you just go in for 5 seconds and then leave." I couldn't do that, so we, like, do a little butt pat, we walk out and all of the things, so it's truly whatever works for you. I mean, it
Mhm.
is ideally still a cry it out because she's crying, but, I don't know. I know that there's some where you just do not go in there at all, and they could be crying for, like, my sister said she had to do that with my nephew, like, she just was like, "I just let him cry." And then
Mhm.
she said, "I did it one time, and then after that, he was just like, he slept through the night." So and we didn't think we were gonna have to because she slept through the night, and then,
Right?
happened, regressions, and then she was like, "Actually, I prefer you to rock me every single time I wake up." And I'm like, "No, this is not gonna work, girl." So, yes, but we sound very, refreshed, both me and
We really do. What is smiling, laughing is a whole new pod.
you're like, "Ah." I love that. Ah. Well, what are we talking about today, Tempest?
I think we are talking about some sensory play. We are getting into Jhshell's profession. So,
Yeah.
her OT life, she's going to give us some advice on sensory play, some low mess ideas as to how we can play with our children at this age. Is that
Yeah.
a good way of
Yeah,
saying
exactly.
it?
Yeah. I really wanted to, like, talk about it just because, like, I feel like as a mom and as an OT, a lot of times when you hear sensory play, you're like, "Okay, what is that? What do I do? How do I do it?" Or you get like, "Oh, my kid doesn't need sensory play because they don't have a diagnosis," and that is not true, not accurate. So I just really wanted to talk about it, give some low mess ideas and activities. So, yeah, I'm excited to talk about today. But pretty much just like jumping in, um, I feel like one of the things, and you can tell me if this is what you felt like when you first like, started playing with kids, because I know that was not your thing before.
Honestly, it's still not my thing, but that's okay.
But when you hear sensory play, parents literally are like, "Oh, sensory play. I'm gonna have like kinetic sand in my couch. I'm gonna have like slime on my ceiling and
Yes.
shaving cream all over my floor." And then
Yeah.
as an OT, trying to like be like, "It's more than that. It's not just that." They're like, very hesitant on sensory play. Did you kind of have like that same vibe?
Yeah, when I hear sensory play, quite literally just think about making slime. I don't know if slime's the right word. Silly putty. I
Uh,
think about making silly putty and just like, here you go. Here's your sensory, because that feels weird.
hey, have fun.
This is it. Check off my sensory box.
I mean, this is part of it. You can do a little bit of that. But I feel like anytime I'm ever like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do slime. Do you want to take some slime home?" Every parent is like, "Absolutely not. Do not give me any slime to go on my couch, my cushions, anything like that." But yeah, so I feel like every parent has that same idea. And so I wanted to give some low mess like activities. Before like jumping into that, just so everyone kind of has an idea of like why we do sensory play. It's pretty much because it's really helpful to like regulate our sensory systems. It's really going to be helpful for like having kids focus a lot better, motor development, things like that. And one of the important like parts of like you deciding what activity works best for your kid is like focusing on the fact that it is how they engage with the activity, not really like what they're utilizing or what they're playing with. So there's so many different things that you can do, but it also depends on your kiddo. So it depends on, are we sensory avoidant or are we sensory seeking? And do you have any idea what I mean by that?
Well, when you said sensory avoidant, I I picture Abel. um, But
Yes.
I'm not but now I'm like, I don't know because there's, like, sensory seeking, and I'm sure actually, no. I think my kids are both opposites, and I'm
Mhm.
just gonna tell you why without and you tell me if I'm right or wrong. So, Abel, he does not like to touch things that are, quote, unquote, "gross." I don't know. Just anything that's we'll be outside playing dirt, and he'll be like, "I need to go wash my hands." And I'm like, "You're 2, are you sure?" I guess he's 3 now, but I'm like, "You don't wanna play in dirt?" And so, like, it takes him a minute to, like, get in there and start being like, "Okay, I'll play in this stuff you're making me play in." And so I would call him sensory avoidant. And then Sequoia, she will, like, literally ram her head into us and just, like, rub her head on
Yeah.
us. I've seen her rub her head on, like, the carpet, on the couch. Like, girl is trying to find some sense,
Yes.
just our sensory
Yes.
stuff. So I think, those 2 are they're opposites.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, there's really like subsets. Like you could be sensory avoidant of like noise, but then be like a sensory seeker of like movement. So there are like different, it's an umbrella, but like not to get very granular. But yeah, exactly that. Sensory avoidant. So like your avoiders are gonna hate the way things feel. Like they're not gonna like dive head first or hands first into like anything like shaving cream, dirt, mud. They're usually are picky eaters.
Yep.
Yep, there are picky eaters. They usually don't like hugs, which he was a hugger, but
Yeah, he
again,
loves
there's
hugs.
different like subsets to it. But they usually don't like hugs. They don't really like climbing on things. They're kind of like our more timid friends. And then your sensory seekers are putting are banging our head into rubbing our faces on the carpet, like, really, like, they will go hands head first into, like, any, like, messy play activity. They like to climb on things. They love hugs. They actually also have, like, a really high pain tolerance.
Hmm,
So they are ones that, like, usually things like heavy work and, like, proprioceptive work is, like, what calms them, and then our senses.
what is proprioceptive septive? You
Yes.
said that in our last podcast too, and and I meant to ask, so sorry, listeners, hopefully you're back for again, and now you get a definition because 'cause I'm very curious.
Yeah, so proprioceptive, like, I'm trying to put it in, like, layman's terms, so basically, it's, like, how your body will receive, hmm, like, a lot of impact into your joints, for example. So, like, your body's receiving them all at one time, and it's very, very calming. So, like, heavy work is a proprioceptive activity or, like, term. If you do, like, wall push-ups, things like that, it's proprioceptive work. So you're putting a lot of impact into, like, your joints is,
Would
like,
this
what.
be like a weighted blanket and
Yeah.
or a weighted vest?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly. So, and then I think I probably on the podcast I said, like, vestibular. Vestibular is, like, giving your body movement. So, like, swings is, like, a really, really popular vestibular activity. So yeah, there's, like, different activities in sensory play, but for us to, like, keep it nice and mellow and, like, different, like, low mess ideas, we're gonna, like, talk about different, like, sensory bends, if you will.
Mhm. Okay,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Have you, like, done sensory bends at all with Abel or, Sequoia?
So the most I've done is, like, kind of like water play, I guess, not like I've seen some people do rice and I've seen sand, but in our actual house, yeah, the only thing I've done is water.
Yeah. So water play is actually one of the ones I would say low mess because you can do it without like making a whole chaos in your kitchen. So some parents will just do it like in the bathtub or like in the sink. But I think like the main focus is like keeping it contained. But water play is fun because you can do it with our sensory seekers and our sensory avoidant because like water isn't, I mean, you will have your friends that do not like water, but water isn't too intense like shaving cream and slime and things like that. And then you can do activities like a lot of dump and pour activities. So you're doing like bilateral coordination. You can do like where you can put like sponges in the water, and then you can have like some like friendly food coloring or some like non-stain paint and then have them do that and put that like on paper. So there's like a whole bunch of different things that you can do with water play. You can put their favorite animals in there if they are avoidant to kind of get them engaged. So that's one of my favorites, like, go-to because you can do that early on. Like, I think we were doing that with Naya, and I know you were doing Sequoia pretty early on, like, probably, like,
Yeah,
5 months we were doing it on our belly.
yeah.
So yeah, that's one of my favorites.
I love that, and I do think that's such an easy way to like, I'm pretty sure I just used a pan from the kitchen, like one of the casserole dishes, and put water in it and put some bath toys in it, and she loved
Yeah,
it. And
yeah,
I'm sure she loved it, for tummy time, and I think she'd probably still love it now.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and Naya pretty much treats, like, her bathtub like water play the whole entire time, but
Right,
also
exactly.
struggling with that because she wants to be in the big girl bath and crawl all way around, so that's all just
Oh,
another topic. Yeah, so
yeah.
yeah. Another low mess idea is like dry food items. So, like dry beans, dry lentils, dry rice, dry pastas. This is going to be more friendly for our friends that are tactily sensitive. So, they like Abel would probably like this. It's not going to be like gunky in between their fingers and things like that. Um, and it's low mess because, I mean, yes, obviously sweep it up, but it can stay contained. It's not going to like stain anything. And you can have like your sensory seekers and your avoidance play with it. But like things that you can do in that, I do like a lot of hide and seek activities in my drive-in. So like if you're learning letters, put some letters in there and have kiddo find like an A or something like that. Or like if you have like kid-friendly tweezers, put some poms in there, some pom poms, and then
Mm,
have them pull the pom poms out for like a fine motor activity. So many different things that you can do with that, and you can still do like cause and effect, like dump and pour play, just like you would do with water. So that's another low mess that is pretty popular. And you can make them like holiday friendly. So like when I used to work where I would go to kids' houses, I would have their own sensory bins and then I would make them holiday friendly. So we would do like a Valentine's Day one or a Halloween one since we just had Halloween, things like that. So then they're like still really engaged and it's still new, but they're still like having that sensory input, hitting their nervous system. Yeah.
yeah, I was going to do a holiday theme one last year. I remember thinking that, oh, what a great idea to do. And I never ended up doing it. That always happens to me. But anyway, what I was going to do was use our water table that we have since we're in a cold place. We can't use the water table half the year, but I was going to fill it with rice, beans, and then I was also going to color the rice black and orange for Halloween, because it was gonna be on Abel's birthday, and I was just gonna put, like, a bunch of construction vehicles and stuff in there. Um, didn't end up doing it, but I do think it's still a good idea, with use of the water table that doesn't get half the use out of the year because of where we live.
Yeah, no, that's a good one too. I know some of my friends who are OTs, they will do sand, but they do it like outside. And they'll put it in there and they'll do like, trucks, construction trucks where they're like driving through. Another thing that like is fun in the sense of like tying in your sensory play with like an activity of daily living, an ADL, is like if a kiddo is learning how to self-feed and they just like are not grasping it, like if you do like colored cooked pasta, which isn't as low mess, but if you have like you said like orange and black, you did that, and then you have them scoop all the black ones into a bowl and then scoop all of the orange ones, and then they're practicing like either using a fork, using a spoon, and then they're getting their sensory play in too. So that's like another way that you can kind of combine activities.
I love that, and then they could eat it if they wanted to.
If they want to do it. They're not picky eaters, but
Right,
some
exactly.
of
I'm like,
their
Abel wouldn't. He'd be like, "I
yeah,
don't
just
want an orange or a
black
black one."
noodles, they're
Yeah.
not yeah, but, another one is sensory bags. So, especially for our friends who do not like things on their hands, you can do, like, a sensory bag, or you can make, like, your own bottle. Like, if you use, like, a Sprite bottle, like, empty Sprite bottle or something like that, just get a big thing of glue from, like, Costco or, like, the dollar store, and you can put, like, pom-poms in there. You could put beans in there. Some I know some of my friends have done, like, peas,
Okay.
um, and then it'll just kind of, like, float around, so they're, like, engaging with it without having to have their hands touch it, and you can put it on, like, on a window, so it's, like, at a higher surface, so they're kind of, like, getting in some, like, strengthening at the same time, or you can just, like, put it on their high chair, and so that'll keep them pretty engaged for a while, so that's another activity where and if you wanted to get crazy, you could do glitter, but I
Oh,
know glitter is not fun for a lot of parents, but it's
yeah.
sealed and it's glue.
He's like, "You know what I don't wanna do is get crazy with glitter." I swear, glitter is the worst. I always know when daycare has done something with glitter.
Literally, it is terrible. Nick's, mom, my mother-in-law got, Naya a dress to wear for, like, her I think it was her 6-month photos, and it was glitter all over the place, so we put it on her to take photos for her, and we took it off, and there was literally glitter all over her room, and I was, like, grabbing the dress, and I was like, "Okay." And we're done. Very beautiful, but
Donation pile.
because no, it was, like, under her eyes. I was like, "No."
Ugh,
But if you
I
like glitter, you can do that.
side note on glitter. So, well, I guess no, actually, it was sand, not glitter. But okay, anyway, let me tell you the story. So, daycare calls me and is like, Abel had sand in his eye and he won't stop scratching it. And we're just worried about it. So, we had to go to urgent care. They had to flush his eye because there was sand in it. And they said that it happened often. Sand in the eye, glitter in the eye with these kiddos. And it could get
Uh,
really bad. So,
yeah. Cut
just
your
he didn't cut his eye, no, but it almost did.
time. Yeah. I used to be, again, pre-mom, we would play with, they would be like, "I wanna paint with this," and then I would let them pick, and they'd pick glitter. Yeah, I'm so sorry, parents, 'cause if Naya wants glitter, tell her no for anyone who ever like, yeah, we're not doing it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then another one that I feel like often gets missed because you're not exactly like playing with it in a bin is obstacle courses. So
Mm.
obstacle courses, of course, it's like motor coordination, things like that, but it's also a sensory activity because if you have kiddos that are sensory seeking, you can give them a lot of input to help calm them down. So that input would go back to like that proprioceptive we talked about and that heavy work. So you can put like painter's tape on your floor and then you can do activities where you don't need to go buy anything. Say they're doing like bear crawls or frog jumps or crab walks, things like that. You have like a laundry bin. You throw in some like some things in the laundry bin and they're carrying that. Like things like that where it's like fun for them because they don't understand why you're trying to get them to calm down. But it provides them a lot of input for calming. So if you notice like your kiddo is just like climbing all over the couch, like honestly create like a really quick obstacle course, have them do all that, and then it's going to help regulate their sensory system to give them the input that they're ultimately seeking.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually say that maybe Abel is very tactilely avoidant, but very what's the other option?
But probably is sensory seeking for like vestibular
Seeking.
activities. Like he likes
Yes.
I've seen him like with that truck go back and forth and like all of that. So
Oh,
yeah.
he'll do laps in our house. And then like I mean, we've had to yell at him like, "Okay, we cannot jump off things." And then the moment he's jumping off it again. And we're just like and you can tell that he's like he does not care about the rule. He's like, I'm going to do it." And so that would actually be such a good idea. Is like, let's just figure out a way to get you keep you on the floor ideally so you don't
Mhm.
get hurt. But still be able to, move around and get that sensory seeking that he's looking
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like a lot of times when parents are like, they're all over the place and they're spinning and things like that. And then you're like, well, what did you do at home? Well, I have them sit down and like paint and then I have them like, and I'm like, well, that's great for like, of course, kids do need to like, because school is school. They do have to learn how to like sustain attention to an activity, but like you can't have a kid sustain attention to an activity if their brain is all over the place. So like, yeah, have them sit down and paint, but before that, give them some type of like activity to regulate them and calm the sensory system because they're not able to do that sitting in a chair like painting.
Right.
So yeah, you can do whatever you need to at home, but you have all the stuff like use pillows, use cushions. I know what are the I don't have it because I'm a new mom, but the Nest, what is that?
The nugget?
The Nugget. You can use the Nugget and like build little like obstacle courses where they're like going up, they're going under, all of the things. Like you don't have to go buy crazy things. Just use what we have and then have kiddos sit down. So I feel like that's like a very common like misunderstanding of like, oh, my kid is just all over the place. They don't listen. But it's probably because their sensory system is telling them that it's hard for them to do that. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. This is now making me think that I need to talk to my parents. Be like, hey, I think maybe I was sensory seeking with quite a lot of things.
Yes. And you're definitely also avoidant of textures.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, Abel and I are very similar to each other. I guess he's my kid.
Basically, you birthed yourself, but it's
Yeah.
fine. But yeah, that's pretty much like the most, like, common that you can just do at home without spending a lot of money, keep it clean, be outside in the grass, like, just I don't know, just, like, give your kiddos input and, like, listen to them when they like, listen to their bodies, just, like, watch them, and it'll tell you a lot of, like, what they're asking for, honestly.
Yeah, no, I love that. Especially now having 2 kids and seeing just how different they are. I know people say that all the time, but they really like you could do the same thing and they're just so different. And so it is good. I think listening to their bodies, seeing what they're doing and, helping them process however they want to.
Mhm.
Such a good
Yeah.
idea. And I love these options. I'm forcing Adam to listen to this episode. Like, hey, we're going to do all this stuff, especially because winter's coming along. So it's like a lot of stuff we can get indoors and/or outdoors. I kind of am excited. I've been like, I'm not gonna be the mom that's inside because it's cold. We're gonna go outside. It's so hard when it's cold though. I'm like, maybe we can just watch a movie.
I can't say that I would not be that mom because I don't like the cold. It was, like, 60 degrees the other day, and I was, like, freezing, so but anyway,
Please.
as you were saying.
Either way, my goal is just to, have a lot of activities we can do inside. I think Abel is actually getting into an age where like toys don't interest him as much as they did. And so he's got his trucks and then he's like, okay, now I'm bored. And he has been asking for TV. And you know how we feel about TV. We do
Mhm.
it, but we don't want a lot of it. And it's hard when we're not going outside all the time. So if we just had a couple of things we could, pull out of our belt or pocket, wherever we're pulling it from. Just for him to do, and, I think it'll be good. And we put him in gymnastics because I think that he'll really like that.
You did?
Yes, we missed
Oh,
the
I love
first one.
that.
It was yesterday, but
Oh,
that's okay.
okay.
We're gonna go next week until the end of December.
Well, that's fun. You will get a lot of sensory activities.
Yes. Well, he we were like, "You're
Dang.
gonna do gymnastics," and Adam's like, "You're gonna start flip. You're gonna flip like you like," and he's like, "I don't know how to flip. I don't wanna go." And I'm like, "Uh-oh." This boy he does not like to not be able to do something or
Oh,
not be able to do something. So we're
yes.
like, "You'll be fine. You didn't know how to play soccer and you're great." So
Okay, you have to update us next week on how it went.
absolutely,
Yeah.
definitely. All right. We have a unsolicited advice from the new parents subreddit. It says, "What's up with sensory play indoors? Do parents not mind the mess and the cleanup? What are the proven benefits and what ages you can't get from other types of play? I can't even stand Play-Doh."
Yeah.
So, what
Yeah.
do you think?
Exactly what we talked about with the, like, the messiness. So, kind of, like, digging into that, like, of course, if you yourself are avoidant of messes and like you don't like texture like I don't like shaving cream. I really do not. So, but at the same time, I don't want my kid to also have that same type of avoidant, but start with like dry activities. Start with dry beans, start with beads in a cup, start with the bags that we just talked about, like work your way up there. And then you can always do like I feel like the biggest thing is making sure that you're if you're gonna do like a messy play, it's in a contained area. So like have a tray that is just for shaving cream or just for whatever it is. And then have a timer. Kiddo plays for that with that activity for like 5 minutes and then you just clean it up and you put it away. So then they're still like engaging with it. Yes, I hear like, oh, well, since you're getting that, in all types of play, which is true, you are. But when you're having like more of a focused activity, especially if you have a sensory avoider or a sensory seeker, whatever it is, it's going to allow them to like really regulate their nervous system based off of what they are engaging with. And then like age wise, honestly, you can start really young. I mean, Naya was doing water play, like I mentioned, pretty young, like 5-ish months. As long as it's like it's not like beans and stuff where they're gonna put it in their mouths. And then it can go all the way to like adulthood. You could do sensory play as an adult. If you don't like Play-Doh, maybe you should do some sensory play with yourself to start regulating that. But yeah, I don't really think that there is like a cutoff of an age, obviously, before, like a newborn. You're not going to do that with a newborn. But, you know, um, yeah, that's kind of my two-bit there.
Yeah, the funny you say that because I fantasize about being able to clean off my desk with shaving cream like we used to back in the day. Well, I don't know if everybody did, but we definitely did that
We did.
in our schools. I loved it. Oh my goodness, I loved it. And it was always so short, and I always wanted to play more in it, and I never got to because it eventually like goes away and they're like, "Okay, you're done for the year." And I'm like thinking, "How do I get to do this again?" And you got to wait a whole other year to do it again. So you know what? Maybe I'll make that a date night where we cover the table with shaving cream and I just
Worse.
clean it off.
I'm stuck on the word fantasize, to be quite honest. Like, I heard everything you said, but I kept going back to fantasize, fantasize, fantasize. Yeah, I guess you and Adam should figure that out. He's like, "This is the worst podcast you guys have ever done." 'Cause now he wants to do shaving cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, have fun with that. I have had kids that I have had to do shaving cream with, and I'm not happy the whole entire time, but I'm like, "This is so fun," and then when they leave, I'm, like, scrubbing my hands because I don't like mess either. But, I also don't want Naya to pick that up from me, so it's also okay to get messy. I feel like that's
Mhm.
a thing, and I've talked about that with when we talked about feeding and, like, self-feeding. Like, they should get messy because then if we don't, like, expose them to certain messes, then they have a mess and then they don't know how to react to that mess or they don't know how to, like, regulate themselves when there is a mess. So mess is okay. It's just, like, teaching them what to do when there is a mess from there. But, you know, yeah.
Yeah. That's
Mm,
great. I love it. These are great tips.
Yay, good.
Yeah.
Good episode. We're also in, like, a really great mood because we slept.
Yeah. Fantastic. We did amazing.
Yay. Well, we don't know what we're talking about next week, per usual. But thank you guys for listening. Please don't forget, comment, engage with us, like our posts, but also subscribe to our channel. And thanks for listening.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.